But I totally agree, man. Like, and I think I heard somebody say at one time, you know, music connects with people's emotions on a completely different level than like the most gifted speaker, you know, that you could ever listen. You know, you could go listen to a speech from someone or a message or whatever that is moving, but there's always a thing about music that touches your emotions in a completely different way. And I do love the fact that any language, culture, whatever, you can feel it in a different way than you can just listening to somebody talk.
Yep.
You know, and you're exactly right. You know, when we were looking at different things to advertise the studio, kind of, so I ended up using the video thing before. You know, we were live stream Zoom before like it was cool and hip. You know, during the COVID thing, like, it was like if you're gonna meet with somebody, you're getting on Zoom video or whatever. But like, luckily, like I'd already been doing that for like 3 years, so that also reaches people on a different level. You know, the craving of content that people have and the video content, the craving that people have, it connects with people on such a different level. You know, and thinking outside the box, you know, I don't mind thinking outside the box some too. And that was huge. Yeah, that video part that we have integrated here into the studio it's been huge. It's been incredibly huge over the past few years.
Yeah, and if you'd have thought back to your master business plan that you had 25 years ago, it was not even part of.
That was not. It was, honest to goodness, it was a random conversation just sitting in here with a bunch of guys one day. It's like, I wonder what would happen if we did blah, blah, blah with cameras and just showed the world like what we do with session recording. And I was like, cool. Let's see what happens. So I just bought a bunch of gear and we set it up.
And it's always the best gear. That's I remember nothing more than coming here and you be in there ripping boxes open, and I'm like, Brad lives the coolest life ever. Like,
yeah,
like you're like, well, I got this thing and it's all this stuff, and like I had no idea. I remember the first time I actually came into this studio, like I did not comprehend the amount of equipment and the amount of like understanding of what it takes to not only record it but to like produce that. And like there's so like, okay, the advancement of technology, right?
Yeah,
you got so many people that is like at home, you know, recording on their telephone, you know, and it serves a purpose, but there's just something about like, you know, I'll equate this to like the barndominium world, right? There's always a cheaper way.
Oh yeah.
You can build it yourself, and there's hurdles that come with that, right? And at the end of the day, yep, you saved some money, but you did not save any time.
Yeah.
And there's probably a moment in doing it to where you're so deep into it that it's like, I ain't got no choice but to finish now.
Right.
To where you're like, it might not have been a bad idea to hire a professional.
Sure.
And I know that that's something in this world that you deal with every single day is like, you know, everybody and their brothers, like, I can lay tracks down with you know, some kind of a digital something, you know, and like talk a little bit, navigate through that, like the difference. Like I know because I'm not the most technologically savvy person. So when you were like, I got podcasts in a box, I was like, I need that box. I need that box right now.
Yeah.
But like lay that out. So like if somebody was listening and they wanted to record an album, or, you know, get studio time, and how, like, all the supplemental stuff that you do. Like, we were sitting in here right before we started this, and we're, like, listening to tracks from a buddy of yours, and, you know, that is one of the most gifted musicians in the world. Yeah. And his world is playing on other people's music more so than releasing his own. And you have access to that kind of stuff. Like, and, you know, we were talking about, like, one of the churches and like, you know, putting together like Sunday morning music, and like the people that were on stage, nobody knew. Yeah. Like we got Nashville recording steel guitar player on the stage. Like, you know, like, but that level of experience and connection that you could bring to the table.
Yeah. And I think that goes for basically any industry, you know, in the fact that if you're a consumer and you're looking for a product and there are some DIY methods these days, right? Doesn't matter, you know, even in the Barndo world, I guess there's some DIY methods. But you know, the thing that I always try to use as a selling point is the fact that, you know, I'm super blessed to have you know, 4 other engineers who work here with me now at the studio that specialize in all kinds of genres of music, you know, whether it's hardcore, whether it's hip hop, whether it's country. We got some really, really talented guys who have years and years and years of experience of production to get you from point A to point Z to the product that you're looking for. So to me, what you bring an added value to the table of the experience that you have and the equipment that you have access to, and our, you know, the people that you have to work with are not accessible to everyone. So, you know, when an artist comes to us, you know, I can say, hey, here's the things that we can offer that maybe you obviously can't get working on your project at home by yourself. And you know, it's just I think it has to do with somebody's coming to us looking for our experience to get them the product that they really need to represent themselves in the best way possible in whatever genre that they're in. So, you know, I think it has a lot to do with people that are looking for an experience, with people who are experienced to get the job done that they're going to really be proud of in the end. And, you know, that applies to you guys as well. I mean, like, people are coming to you to look for, you know, a forever home sometimes, and they don't want a halfway job,
right?
You know, and they're coming to you guys because you guys know how to get it done.
That's correct.
And I think it's applicable both ways. And, you know, we do work with artists who are not in the upstate of South Carolina, and it's because we have a product that we put out that they're looking to, you know, to sort of emulate in some way. Yep. for their career, the style of music that they're in.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in to the Barndo Show podcast. If you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're listening to this content, hit subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And then be sure to check us out on all of our social media platforms at the Barndo Co. Super simple to find us. And then when you're ready to dive in a little more, maybe look around some of our available floor plan options, or take a look at the gallery of our work, or maybe you're ready to connect with our team and explore what it looks like to build your dream barndominium, you can visit us online at thebarndoco.com.